Howdy, and welcome to the Red Dirt Aggie Show. I'm Brian, the Red Dirt Aggie, and beside me today is August Mann, a Texas musician. And why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Well, hello, y'all. Thank you for having me. Appreciate the opportunity to come on and kind of talk about some of my experiences and background and whatnot. I'm excited to be here, so let's get it going.
Right on, right on. And we'll just start real simple here with the questions. But I mean, what made you want to become, or what kind of inspired you to become a musician, to start making music?
Well, younger, younger version of myself, being like 12 years old, got to go to some shows with my dad and see people like Casey Donahue Band, Randy Rogers Band, Pat Green. Those were some acts that were kind of a big influence, in my early days, and it grew my interest in the guitar. However, I was busy with sports and things like that, and so I really didn't pick it up until college. I picked around in high school and all of that, but I found myself having a lot more free time in college, and so that's really when I started to pick it up.
Yeah, so that influence from an early age, where you start to kind of fall in love with the music, and you finally get more time when you get to college. And
Yeah,
you're just
for sure.
hanging around,
Yeah.
picking on some guitar, maybe having a few drinks with your buddies.
For sure.
But what's your favorite part of the music creation process of creating music?
Honestly, getting it out, just having, you're having some thoughts or an experience, or, not even your experiences always. Sometimes it's, something you heard about, or a buddy went through something, and you put the thoughts onto some paper or onto your phone, and put some chords to it.
Yeah, just
So
telling a story. Yeah.
that part of it feels good. So creating music, really the best thing is bringing a thought or a story to life by putting some words and some chords to it, and it really just feels good getting that all out.
Get rid of those tough emotions, or just telling a story even that maybe you heard from someone. It's just cool to be able to tell that story, I guess, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
But so I know you mentioned some names earlier when we were talking about what kind of got you into music. But who are some of your big influences right now, or maybe some of your favorite artists right now?
Ooh, so right now, I mean, a lot of I guess, as a lot of artists might say, that it changes a lot.
Yeah.
You go through phases and whatnot. Right now, just moved to a little beach town called Rockport near Corpus Christi. So I've been into to Jake Owen a lot. I really dig Jake Owen. He's got the whole, beach country vibe going on and whatnot. I still listen to some of those Texas guys like Cody West and Giovanni and the Hired Guns and whatnot. Obviously, Co Wetzel, who doesn't listen to that guy these days.
You got your Co Wetzels and your Parker McCollums that have just kind of exploded from the Texas music scene, so yeah.
Oh, and Hardy, really dig what that guy's doing.
Yeah, we did an episode a little while back, and we kind of talked all about that Hardy album and how crazy that was. How he just went from country right into rock right in the middle.
Right in the middle of a song.
So. Yeah, I thought that was neat, and it's cool because both halves of it sound pretty solid. You're like, dang.
Yeah, for sure.
I can mess around with either one of these. So, but moving to the big question, perhaps the most important question of the day. Well, it is if you ask Rich O'Toole, who you can thank for this question. Our first guest we ever had on here. His whole deal with beans and chili. Do beans belong in chili?
Man, I gotta say, I've had it both ways. I think it's great both ways. I'm not gonna say
Yeah.
I pick a side, because I like me some Wolf Brain chili with no beans, and then I'll eat Wolf Brain chili with beans. It's the same to me. So, you know, I have my family puts beans in chili, so I've kind of had that, but I definitely am not scared to go get some without it.
Yeah.
Whereas I guess the other side is like, hell no. I'm not. That's
Yeah.
not. They don't belong in there.
Yeah, Brandon Ryder, our most recent guest, at the time of this filming, he took a very strong stance and was like, no beans ever, he's like, a bowl of red is a bowl of red, and then of course Rich is like, beans all the time. So it's just interesting to hear what people say. Me personally, I eat it with beans. My family does it with beans, so like I'm fine with it. But I've heard people that are like, well, it depends, because if you put it on a hot dog, it's like, well, then no, you probably don't want beans because that's weird. But if you're going to eat it in a bowl, I mean, if it has beans, it's not that bad.
Right.
And I was like, and then honestly, that's probably the proper answer right there. I heard that one.
Right.
But yeah. You ever spend any time dancing over at Hurricane Harry's or watching some bands play or something? I know that's a popular spot up in Aggie Land right now.
Yeah, for sure. Spent a lot of time in college at Hurricane Harry's and the Tap.
Same.
The Tap. Where else? I mean, Shiner Park every once in a while. That place is a little too much for me sometimes, but.
For all you old eggs, that was Daisy Dukes, and then I think what was it called after that? It was like something 240, like it had a number in the name, Boulevard something. It's changed names a lot, but it's been Shiner for the past few years.
Yeah, really at Hurricane Harry's. I mean, I think I was there every weekend at the shows and stuff. I mean, it'd have to be somebody that I just couldn't stand for me to not be there, So I was there, discovering new artists, the openers and things like that. Really I got to see some of these people on the come up, like Parker McCollum and Coetzel, right? When nobody knew who they were, and
yeah,
some of these other guys too, as far as like Giovanni and the Hired Guns and Shotgun Rider, that was a big one that I really enjoyed. Unfortunately, rest in peace. They're not even a thing anymore. But I spent a lot of time there, and that kind of helped me into saying, "Hey, I think I want to pick up this guitar and see what I can do with it."
Yeah, you see them and you're like, man, I want to try to do that.
Yeah, it looks fun.
It looks fun. Yeah, man. But, and of course, you hear all of the songs from all these bands. If you go there and you go dancing on a night, there's not a concert, and then you start to learn all their songs, and you're like, dang, maybe this is something I can get into.
Right. And at the Tap, too, I mean, the Tap was awesome. It was the place people went during Monday and Tuesday nights and stuff like that. And
Wednesdays, they used to have a piano bar, too.
Yeah, that thing was rowdy, dude. But no, that was cool too, getting to do some of those concerts that were like more intimate and whatnot, and that was definitely a good experience. Trying to think, where's some other spots there? I know they opened some another concert kind of area at the mall there or something. I never got to go there, but it's a cool place if you're someone that's into music and whatnot, live music. I think College Station's a little hub in itself.
Yeah, College Station is definitely one of those hubs on the scene. Everyone's always like, oh, Austin, for live music, but there's plenty of other cities in Texas and really around the country that have their own little hubs. But College Station's one for sure.
Right, and actually Bryan is as well, because
they've kind of revitalized it.
Yeah, they have these like little bars and outside areas where people go and sip some craft beer and listen to live music and whatnot. think they got like a little speakeasy or something going on there
Oh,
right
that's
now.
cool.
Yeah,
That's
so
cool.
but Brian, yeah, definitely Brian is becoming, right in line with College Station. Probably not, I think
quite on that
yeah,
level,
no, I
but-
think it's more friendly to people starting out though, whereas you kind of gotta be on a certain level to get into those bars and play in College Station.
Well, yeah, not only that, but it might be an older crowd at some of those places over there in Bryan too. So
Right.
just knowing your audience, I guess too. But I want to ask, do you have a favorite song that you yourself or anyone involved with you in your band or anything that you've written?
Man, honestly, I really love the one that I dedicated to my dad just because he played such an influential part in my life. He bought my first guitar. He kind of pushed me to go to school and go to College Station, and he taught me a lot of the things that I learned today. And so I ended up losing him, unfortunately, midway through college, and so that really was a big boost for me to like say, hey, all right, I need to start playing this more. I need to start putting words to paper and whatnot more. So really, I wrote that song like I want to say like 6 months into me like playing guitar seriously. I wrote like half of it and put it away in my phone and decided that, hey, I'm gonna make an album, and I brought that up and I'm like, I gotta finish this. So me and a buddy of mine, we picked it back up and we ended up finishing it, and I said, I know that the rest of the album is not gonna be anywhere remotely like this, but this has got to be like a feel good country song, because I mean that's I'm not gonna make it what everything else was in the album. For those of you that have heard it, it's definitely
It's a little more country.
It's
than the rest
it's
of
an
the album,
outcast
but
it's an outcast compared to the rest of the album, but
it's one of my favorites on the album, though. To be honest,
Yeah.
I guess just because it has the most personal meaning behind it. Well, I mean, I don't know. That's for you to decide, I guess. Which
Right,
was personal meaning,
right.
but
I mean it's
you
called
can feel
it's
it,
called
yeah.
Dad.
It's
so-
called Dad, so I'm assuming
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great song. If you haven't heard it, look it up. It's on Spotify, wherever else. Right?
Yeah, it's literally
It's
anywhere
there.
you can stream music. It's everywhere. So
Yeah, and we'll if you're watching on YouTube, we'll link it in the description too. But so what about moving to live music? What's your favorite live concert show that maybe you've seen as a fan that you've gone to see?
well, I gotta say, I mean, it's kind of a tie for me, but they both happened this last year. I'm a college graduate now, so I can afford some more cooler experiences.
Right.
But
Can branch out from
yeah,
from
for
the
sure.
top.
So the first one being seeing George Strait at the Houston Rodeo. I mean, that was all time king of country. That was amazing.
For sure, dude.
It was amazing. I mean, it was 2.5 hours. I mean, nobody plays 2.5 hours, let alone like a 65-year-old man. I mean, that's crazy.
No, I know. And I was actually at that show too. Me and my now wife, we bought tickets. Way up top, but still expensive because it's freaking George Strait. But
Yeah.
the fact that he's at the age that he's at, and he still sounds like pretty much the same, and you see him, you're like, oh my gosh, that dude's old, and then he starts singing, and you're like, but he still sounds like
Yeah, it was
same.
awesome. And honestly, just the nostalgia, because hearing his songs, I mean, for my entire life, I've heard his music, whether I'm out eating or at Walmart or wherever. I mean, this guy's music is welcomed everywhere.
Yeah, there's, even if you're not a country music fan, you're probably a George Strait fan if you live in Texas.
For
There's at
sure.
least one song that you like, or that you at least know.
Yeah,
You know
even
what
if you don't like country music, you probably know George Strait.
Yeah,
Or you've heard his music because
Mhm.
it's everywhere.
it's everywhere.
And then
King.
the other the other one that's tied with that is I got to see this summer jam concert where it was Joan Jett, it was Poison,
Oh,
it
nice.
was
All the hair bands.
Motley Crue, and it was Def Leppard. I mean, it was
So you got all your '80s like power hair bands.
yeah, it was
They're
awesome. It
rocking
was
out.
awesome. Def Leppard is
Yeah.
they're insane. I mean, they're so good still. You know, similar to George Strait. Motley Crue was cool. They were struggling a little bit, but hey, they're old guys that have been
Yeah.
through a lot of partying
A lot of
and
partying.
whatnot.
If you've seen there's some kind of like there's a movie or something on
Yeah.
Netflix. You can look that one up on your own. I don't know if it's clean to talk about that one on YouTube. But so I know. Have you? What's the coolest venue you've played at, or the best place that you've played a show at?
I mean, honestly, for me, playing at the Tap. I mean, I got to play at the Tap one time. I was part of this series of musicians kind of doing a little song swapping and whatnot, and
Like a songwriters series kind of thing?
yeah, and so I got to play at the Tap. There was a lot of people there, and it was nice for once, because some of these smaller guys that were just getting started and whatnot. There's a lot of times where people are there, but they may not be listening. But so
Yeah.
But when you go to an event like that, everyone's listening because they're there because they like hearing songwriters and their stories.
Mm-hmm.
So it was nice getting to do that, and seeing a lot of people play there, and then finally getting to be one of them. That was really cool for me.
Yeah.
That's it's kind of one of those things for all Aggies. Like, hey, they've all been to the Tap at some point.
Yeah, it's like a rite of passage.
Yeah, so it was cool getting to play there. That's probably one of my favorite as far as places I've played.
Yeah, man. Well, it's always a good time, those concerts over at the Tap too, because it's up close and like personal too.
Yeah, for sure.
But I have to ask, what's your ultimate goal for your career as a musician? If you have had an ultimate goal or what you want from your career?
Well, I would have to say just to tell as many stories that I can, and hopefully help as many people as I can, because honestly, music is therapy to me. I mean, whether it's for having a good time or going through a rough time, I mean, music is somehow always involved, and so
Right.
for me, just doing my part in providing that for people. So I would say a goal of mine is just to ultimately keep making music, and whoever wants to listen, let them.
Yeah, so just you say telling as many stories, helping as many people. So I guess just continuing to be able to write music and make music is your goal, then, huh?
Yeah, for
In a
sure.
nutshell, right? Just to be able to keep doing it,
Yeah, for sure.
And sometimes I'm sure that gets hard. Life gets in the way of stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
But just to be able to keep it going, like anything else. But what is your opinion on where you fall as your genre, also as well as what you consider Texas music or red dirt to be today? If you have a genre, I know not everyone does.
Some people say they're their own genre nowadays, right? Honestly, I don't know. I would find myself into country rock or something like that.
Like this?
Yeah, something like that. But people say the Texas music scene is that's not country. Well, they're not trying to be country. They're just doing what makes them feel good, and what their influences are.
That's what's so great about the whole scene, though. Is it's just there is no one thing that it falls into. It's all that genre because it's just people are just playing what they're influenced from when they were little. I think that's why we're
Right.
seeing that almost like pop punk sound come into a lot of it because the artists around the age they are, that was big in the late 90s and early 2000s, and all these artists are like, in their 20s. So
I mean, people my age, we're talking about what are their biggest influences. Well, those biggest influences are the ones that we got to get on our first iPod when we were like, I don't know,
Yeah.
2007 or something on
yeah,
that.
and you're
The big old brick. What music did we have on there?
But the Green Day and the whatever else, I don't know, Blink 182,
Yeah, Blink 182,
and all that. And you hear even with guys like Ko Wetzel now, he's almost shifted over to like a punk rock musician. He started off country and then got a little more like country rock, and now it's just like full rock and roll.
No, that guy's in his own world.
Yeah, he's always in his own world in a lot of different ways. He just does not care. He does what he wants. But Go, if you ever see this, we'd love to have you on the podcast.
Come hang out with Brian.
Come hang out with me, please. But who are some of your favorite artists today? Maybe outside the genre, outside the Texas music scene, or in the scene. I don't know. Some of your favorite artists that you're listening to today.
So I listen to a whole lot of different music. I listen to country and like I said, Jake Owen and stuff like that, and
Right.
I listen to Cody West and Giovanni and the Hired Guns somewhat. And I guess if I had to step outside of that genre, I listen to some of the what would you call it, EDM music, like when I'm working out or whatever.
Like Skrillex and stuff?
Yeah. I'll dip into some rap. I have a rap playlist. It's called High School. And it's literally all of the old Drake,
Like some old Drake and some old Lil Wayne and stuff.
all that stuff. I'll play some of that, and as far as my favorite artists outside of, I would say like country or Texas music, country music, everything. It's probably gonna have to be like Def Leppard. I mean, that band is awesome to me.
Yeah.
So,
well, yeah. I mean, it's good. It's good to listen to. I think all the different genres, and then you can pull your favorite parts from each one, and then make your own thing. And that's kind of like what everyone's doing now, and that's that's why we get all these new unique sounds coming out of Texas and stuff.
I have another playlist of like rock music, like old rock music, and it's called Adam Sandler. Just because Adam Sandler movies have all of the awesome rock songs. Like any of those movies, you're bound to hear one song that like you're like, wow, that's a banger.
Yeah, man. Oh wow, but so do you have any new music that's coming soon? Anything you're working on, or any kind of announcements that you'd like to tell us about here on the podcast, or tell our viewers?
Yeah. So, well, I recently got married. So that was that took up quite a bit of my time and commitment, and made some career changes outside of music, and really and then I moved also. I was up here in the Houston area, and I moved down south to be on the water. That's where I'm kind of happy, but I'm gonna start picking it back up. I'm gonna start writing some new tunes, and hopefully we'll have something out. Let's be realistic here. Hopefully we'll have something out next summer. I wanna make another project and see what we can do with it.
Yeah, we'll be looking forward to that, man.
Yeah, hopefully a single or two will come out before any of that. But I'll keep y'all posted about it.
Yeah. Well, we'll do what we can to spread the word. um, but that's exciting to hear. Any plans to play any live shows or anything, or try to play any gigs?
Yeah, I mean, really, the focus I feel I need to do is get some more music written.
Right.
You know, I know people want to hear covers and all that, but you know, I feel like I got some more work to do and get the band back together really and get things going.
Get it rolling.
Yeah, but I definitely want to get some live shows going and see if I can't tap back into that College Station scene a little bit and go back up there and you know hit.
There's some new places that have like opened that are like. So there was a guy I was talking to. I don't want to reveal any names, but we may have another guest coming soon to the show. But he was playing a gig somewhere at. Do you remember what the name of that place is up in College Station where they have all the shops and like the new movie theater and everything? It's across from Harry's. You know what I'm talking about, but.
Yeah, I do. I can't remember the name for the life of me.
It's like Century Square, maybe?
Century Square.
Yeah, well, they have some place over there that does live music now, I think, too.
Nice.
And there's like an Irish pub over there and stuff, too, I think. There's a few more venues. They also have, Stage 12 over at Bookshire Brothers that does concerts.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a Bookshire Brothers that has a concert stage, which is kind of wild. But
a little off topic here, but it kind of what you were saying reminded me. I'd seen something a while back, not to scare any of the Aggies on here listening, but talking about Hurricane Harry's getting torn down.
I saw that too, and I don't know.
I don't know how long that'll be from now, but hopefully they can figure it out. But
I think that was just a rumor, or like someone was trying to create hysteria, because I haven't heard anything about it since. But I know what you're talking about. They were saying, "Oh, Century Square is going to like expand into there," but I'm like, I don't see how that makes any sense.
I mean that parking lot takes up a lot of real estate, though. So
I mean, I could see them, doing something like turning it into a garage and maybe like, or part of it into a garage, because there's definitely, they don't need that whole parking lot necessarily, but I don't know.
You ever been to a sold out
okay,
show?
Well,
there?
maybe they do for the sold out shows, but no, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, I may or may not have. It's a relatively safe parking lot to leave your car in overnight too. I may or may not have left my car there before after one of those shows. Smart thing. You Uber home and leave the car. But yeah, getting back to on topic. You have any other hobbies outside of music that you would say you're passionate about?
I enjoy fishing and being on the water. That's kind of why I moved back to the coast. And so I definitely enjoy being on the water, enjoy fishing, and enjoy spending time with my family and whatnot. As far as other hobbies other than fishing, man, I can't really think of much. I mean, I play Call of Duty like every other guy, but whenever I get a chance, I'll play that. Or I heard there's a new NCAA game coming out, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it got delayed. It was supposed to be out this July, but they delayed it all the way to next year. They're having trouble with the licensing because they're trying to put real players in it now that they have NIL and all that.
Right.
And they're trying to figure out, I think, the best way to do it and how people are going to get paid. Because, do they pay, the players that are better more? Or, is everyone going to get paid the same? How many players are actually going to be real players? Because, if they do the whole, NCAA, then that's, a lot of players. But
yeah. Well, for the sake of me buckling down and getting some more music out, I'm glad it got delayed.
Yeah, right. For the sake of me, being a good teacher this year. I'm a teacher for my day job, so it's probably good that it got more time for the podcast and more time for
the children.
For the children. For the children.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shoot, man. But we talk a lot about music on this podcast, but we also cover Aggie sports a lot too. You want to talk some Aggie sports for a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
Well,
There's
you remember that App State game last year?
Yeah, not a whole lot to gloat about, but yeah.
Oh man.
I do remember the App State game. I was there for that, unfortunately.
Yeah, that was a rough one, man.
They always find a way to beat someone that they shouldn't have, though. It's
App State, yeah.
They're little weasels, I think.
Yeah, you remember they took down Michigan like a few years ago too. When Michigan was like one of the top teams, they went into same thing, took down Michigan. They come into Kyle Field, take us down, and they're doing cartwheels across our field at the end of the game. I was like, oh my gosh. But
yeah, hopefully this year we
beat the App States of the world.
Yeah, we have some more success. Well, we have some success, not some more. We haven't really had much. We're paying a whole lot to have a whole lot of nothing.
Jimbo's got a lot of moolah, but we'll see if Bobby Petrino is going to be the savior.
Yeah, I mean,
he's a wild card. So
we need some movement and somebody to come shake things up a little bit. We got too much talent, I feel like to not do anything this year.
Yeah, and I think the locker room kind of fell apart last year too. You had players doing drugs and smoking weed and stuff in the locker room, allegedly, and then players getting suspended for team rules. There's all sorts of wild stuff, and then this year Anais Smith was hurt and he was out all year last year. He was supposed to be a veteran presence, like a leader in the locker room, and he probably was absent a little bit last year being hurt. Hopefully something like that can help kind of hold some of those younger guys so they don't get too inflated of an ego or, you don't have issues in the locker room there. But if everyone can stay out of trouble and, stay healthy this year, I think there's reason to be optimistic on the offensive side of the ball this year. You got Connor Wigman, who's the projected starter. They say it's a quarterback competition. They say it's close, but they say it every year, and I feel like Jimbo really knows who he's going to go with.
Right.
I mean, even if you go with Max Johnson, that's fine. I'd be comfortable with him too, but I think Wigman's going to end up winning the job. And, last year in his little bit of action, he didn't throw any interceptions. And, of course, we almost took down Ole Miss last year with him starting. That was one of his first starts. It's on the road in the SEC, and then he, of course, had that great game at the end of the year to take down LSU and effectively eliminate them from any kind of playoff hopes. They had a slim chance to make the playoffs there at the end, but we had absolutely nothing to play for, which was kind of funny, except to be a spoiler. We, came in there and he looked great. I think he had something like 8 touchdowns and no picks last season in this little bit of action. So, and to all the talent he's going to have to throw to this year, because you got Evan Stewart and Moose coming back, and then now you're going to have Anais Smith decided to come back since he got hurt last year. He's granted another year of eligibility, so he's been here for a while because the COVID year, and then he redshirted his freshman year, I think, and then also got another year because of being injured. So
got a lot of big players coming back. Hopefully, there's something's got to be done. We got to do something here.
Yeah.
I think if not, we'll see some people no longer employed.
Yeah, if you're Jimbo, you have to win at least 8 games or you're getting fired, I think. And if you win 8 games, I think you're on the hot seat to start next year. And if you come out and lose a couple early on, you might get fired in the middle of the season. I'm one of those people who doesn't believe that the buyout is actually an issue for Jimbo, because I think the A&M donors and boosters can come up with that money if they need to. I think they have the money. I don't think it's an issue.
Yeah, that school is
there's
I'm not too far out from when I graduated, and I go back and there's things that are unrecognizable already. I'm like, good Lord, it's only been like 3-4 years.
Oh yeah, I think about like when I got out there my freshman year in 2014, what it looked like versus now, ooh, that kind of scared me a little bit. Almost 10 years later now. Because, next year it'll be 10 years since I was a freshman up there. That's kind of nuts. But, yikes. I'm old. Oh, no. But, yeah, when I was out there, there was no Century Square, like we were talking about. There was no Brookshire Brothers with the concert stage. There was no H-E-B over on Welborn. There was no Whataburger on Welborn. There was none of that stuff. That all came later.
Yeah, or that new park,
Yeah, or Aggie Park.
I enjoy fishing. That's awesome. They have some super rare fish that are in that pond, and
catch and release.
Yeah. Students can go over there and have a blast. So that's cool. I'm gonna have to go check that out. Hopefully they let alumni in there.
Oh yeah, it's a big. There's a big tailgate scene over there on game days. So I went up there. It was last year, a couple weeks after that Appalachian State game. My friend Colin. Some of you know Colin because he's on here every now and then. He came up with, he had an extra field box ticket, and I got to go sit down real close to the field. We went to the Miami game, and that was still, early on, so people were like, we can come back from this after the App State game. We won that game. It was a good game, but got to go see Aggie Park, and it's something else, man. There were little kids fishing and stuff, and they just kept catching them over and over and over again, because and I took some cool pictures. They're on our Instagram page. They're some of our first pictures that we posted.
Oh wow, yeah,
But
let's go check that out.
Yeah. But yeah, so hopefully we see a little more positivity this year for Aggie football.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see, as always, man. But yeah, I just wanted to say thanks for coming by. Thanks for coming by to hang out, man.
Appreciate y'all having us.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime you want to come back, or if you ever want to hop on a Zoom call, just let us know.
Yeah, we might have to do like a mid-season feeler, see what's going on, and
talk some sports.
Yeah,
and give an update on how the album's coming along.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this has been another episode of the Red Dirt Aggie Show, and as always, gig 'em and God bless. Giggle. We'll see you next time.